In NASCAR Cup racing, there are most definitely tiers of different drivers. But for simplicity's sake, let's look at the top two. At the top of this list is Elite Tier. This is where your championship level drivers are going to be at, the ones that are most likely going to win each week. Think of drivers like Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, and Kevin Harvick here. The next one on the list would be where Ryan Blaney currently resides. This is the group of drivers who are solid and are always playoff drivers. They also are drivers who consistently get a win or two every year and are at the cusp of title contention. Other drivers in this tier are Alex Bowman, Kurt Busch, and one can even add in maybe Kyle Larson. This isn't meant to disparage these drivers by any means either. Bowman is full of potential. Larson has shown flare-ups in performance before to be an elite driver, and Kurt Busch is the 2004 Cup champion. There is no shame in being included in this group. But of these drivers, Blaney, to me, does seem to be the one who fans are most eagerly awaiting and expecting to jump up in performance. So looking back, how and why has Blaney gathered the anticipation of so many fans? When he came into Cup with a more prominent amount of time in 2015, he ran respectably. While he finished 4th at the Spring Talladega race, he had an arguably more impressive run, finishing 7th at Kansas that fall. His rookie campaign in 2016 was another solid showing relatively, with 3 top 5s and 9 top 10s, and it was enough to get him a top 20 points finish. And for driving for a Wood Brothers car at that time, that is not bad at all. This was the last year before he took another step up in 2017. At Texas, he had 148 laps, but he ended up finishing 12th. But the big breakthrough would come at the Pocono Raceway. On a sunny Pennsylvania afternoon, he not only battled one NASCAR champion, but 2.
I just think Blaney would have been better off just going to the outside. I think he had a big enough run. Instead, he was able to get up to his quarter panel.
Right here, he runs him off the racetrack.
Run him down the back straightaway.
That's 2 big blocks right there.
That is Cale and Donnie material right there.
That was. But I love Blaney. He didn't give up. He just stayed in there. He kept fighting until he got the lead.
This is where I thought Harvick might take him 3 wide into turn 3. Didn't have a big enough run.
That was the crowd reaction. And now Blaney has a half-second lead. Harvick is coming.
Or he let Blaney really drive into the corner. Nice job off of turn 1 for Ryan Blaney.
Gapped him a little bit. Got to get across this tunnel. If he gets across the tunnel, he's got it made.
The calm voice of spotter Josh Williams for Blaney.
Little loose.
Here he comes. He's looking. He's looking.
Oh, Harvick had to get out of the throttle a little bit. Almost got in the wall.
400 miles. It's going to come down to one corner. That flat turn 3. And Blaney beats Harvick back to the gas. Harvick looks slow, and here they come. The winner at Pocono, Ryan Blaney for the Wood Brothers.
After this victory, he made it into the 2017 playoffs. And after averaging a 12th place finish in the opening 6 playoff races, he made it into the round of 8, where he would end up eliminated from championship contention. In 2017, the consistency improved even though he was winless heading into the playoffs. This is where what can be argued as his most famous win would take place.
Now he goes to the inside. Here comes Jimmy Johnson. Locks the brakes up.
Oh,
and he's going to slide. He slides through the middle. Truex gets tagged. Now it'll be a fight for the finish line. Ryan Blaney in the 12 will win.
The victory's boost for the title wouldn't last long, as he would be eliminated in the next playoff round. Even with the earlier exit, the numbers still showed 2018 as an improvement from 2017, so 2019 would look much more bright. The regular season for the 2019 season looks similar to that of 2018. Once again winless, but he still easily made the 16-driver playoff field. After skating through the opening round, suspension issues at Dover put his title bid in jeopardy. And yet again, he would have an eventful victory to help keep himself alive.
Parker Kligerman, here they come, they make contact, they're side by side, it's a photo finish at the line.
Blaney and Newman were side by side when they crossed the line.
So, for the second time in 3 years, Blaney was in the final round before the championship race. And even with a string of finishes of 5th, 8th, and 3rd, he still couldn't make it. So, that leads to 2020. And this is where I'd like to stop for a moment. To this point, Blaney was right on the precipice of greatness. His numbers, at least with points finishes, were just below Chase Elliott's. With lightning fast speed before the 2020 COVID break, it really looked like it would be Blaney, not Elliott, taking the big prize in Phoenix if it were to be a new champion. But for the rest of the season, at least the regular season, it looked pretty similar to 2019, with the exception of winning at Talladega. This is where Blaney delivered one of the most shocking falls in the NASCAR playoff history. Between a penalty and finishes of 24th at Darlington, 19th at Richmond, and 13th at Bristol, Blaney was bounced in the first round of the playoffs. What makes it sting even more is that aside from the 25th place run at Talladega, he finished 7th or higher the rest of the season. And this leads to today. How does Ryan Blaney finally crash through his glass ceiling of performance? Well, there are 2 major sections of the schedule you gotta look at. One that he needs to improve on, and another he just needs to survive. And the first is the one he needs to improve on. It's the regular season. Lack of wins, as well as other playoff bonus points, are 100% needed to be fixed to win the championship. Since 2017, the eventual champion has entered the playoffs with 53, 14, 45, and 20 playoff points. Blaney in those years has entered with 8, 7, 4, and 13. While Blaney has averaged 8 playoff points over the last 4 years to enter into the playoffs, the eventual champion has averaged 33 going in. So on average, how does Blaney make up the 25-point gap? Well, win and win stages and be high in points. So let's see what could be Blaney's regular season that would lead to a championship window opening. Let's say that Blaney enters the playoffs 5th in points. That's 6 bonus points right there. Blaney would need to more than likely have 3 to 4 victories in this range. This would entail that for this season, Blaney would have to double his career wins in the next 23 races if he is to win the 2021 championship. Then, that leaves 7 to 12 points left over, which he would need to make up with stage wins. These bonus points altogether would help carry Blaney into the playoffs and throughout them. These points also help Blaney survive the first round, and this is imperative because Darlington, Richmond, and Bristol are some of Blaney's worst tracks. But if he is to make it past them, he has 7 tracks that bode well for him. He's won at the Roval and Talladega and has proven to run top 5 and top 10 at basically the rest of the playoff tracks. But this is easier said than done. Once again, like in 2020 and in 2019, the 2021 season has had a poor start for Blaney, so he's gonna have to start out by playing catch-up. But it still is the next logical step in his career. I don't think that a little hiccup last year changes the way his career has been heading. But with that, I want to pass this on to you. What do you think Ryan Blaney will need to do to break through and win a Cup championship? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're at it, leave a like in this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content. And also, be sure to tune in to the NASCAR Weekly podcast on my channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, as we'll be talking to Ryan Blaney. So until then, have a good one.